And this is a typical network diagram, activity A to H and 8 activity network diagram, and this is the immediate predecessors and immediate successors. And by this now you would have got clear idea of how to construct a network diagram using the immediate predecessors and immediate successors. And this is activity on arrow diagram, and the duration is given and the resources required. So this is a little interesting thing. We have not done this early. This is the resources. Say for example, if this is an entire project of the carpentry work in a high-rise building, and each activity represents different floors, and carpenters required per activity is given as this column. So resources required, something like that. So at this moment, we do not explicitly state what is the resource, but this is a numerical value, and this is associated with each activity, and it also have no dependent on the durations as well. Say in this case for activity A, it's just 1 day, and the resources required is 3, whereas the activity B is 3 days. But if you divide a total resource, that is 9 divided by 3, then each day you can have something called a 3 resources, something like that. And it is like that. So this is the total resources. And one important thing that we should know, that is resources are limited. So in every optimization problem, we looked into the scarcity of the resources. We don't have the unlimited resources. If we have an unlimited resources, then there is no point in doing an optimization such as this least cost method or the resource leveling. Every activity or a project is constrained by resources and sources. And very important thing here, it is like it's only 7 resources are available per day. So this is very important. This is put forth by the contractor or the client. They say not more than 7 workers per day for this particular activity or this particular project or something like that. So which means that even though we have got 21 total resources, and probably it will not go beyond 7 or something like that per day, and we need to somehow optimize the resources between the 7. So that's a very important thing. And also an assumption is that like the resources are available uninterruptedly, so which means that there is no delay in the resources. But only thing is like the top cap, that is the 7 resources, is the maximum per day. And that's uh, idea put forth by the contractor. And based on the 7 resources, and how do they make these activities and finally end up this project with a good a good number or something like that, or in a good progress or something like that. Let's get started. So first we can use a critical path method to find out the earliest start time, earliest finish time, so that we can find the float durations. Say we don't have to really go into the deep, and this is the network diagram. And this is how I calculated using critical path method the event times, the activity times, and the float durations. Probably by this point you'll have good idea of how to calculate all these things. If you have difficulty in calculating them, then go back to my critical path method lecture and start learning from that, and just join back to this lecture. That will be really helpful for you. um, for this case, we'll be looking only in terms of the total flow, right? So in the case of activity B, activity D, activity F has got 0 floats, total float, which means that there is no buffer time, which means those activities are considered to be critical activities, and path that connects those activities are called critical path. In this case, B, D, and F. So which means that now network diagram, B, D from 1 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 5. B, D, and F is considered to be the critical path. So, and all the other activities have got buffer duration. Like for activity A have 8 days duration. A can relax by 8 days, and C can relax by 10 days, whereas E and H can relax by 4 days, and G can relax by 5 days. So this is the total buffer in an activity. And now kindly pay attention. So this is how we find the critical path, in a shortcut method, or to verify whether we got it correctly from using critical path method. And this is a sanity check. Say when you calculate all the path duration, it comes around 16, which is the highest duration, something. So this is a very important thing. So hence BDF is the critical path, hence proved. But this is the project duration. So the entire project duration is 16 days. So now what we have to do is, like, we will have to give activities and the duration, and this is resource per day. How do we calculate resource per day? Is total resources divided by duration. In this case, for activity B, the total resources is 9 and duration is 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So per day you require 3 resources. And this is a time schedule. The reason we keep 1 to 16 is that 16 is the project duration, is the maximum duration of the project, right? And if you see activity A, B, C does not have any predecessors, and the duration for activity A is 1, and activity B is 3, and activity C is 2. So that's why we have blocked 1 cell, 3 cell, and 2 cell, and in this case we have blocked 6 cell, but D depends on B. So if you take a look at this network diagram, the predecessor for D is B. So unless B is over, D cannot start. Say as simple as that. So D cannot start. And also F has a predecessor of activity D. So unless D is completed, F cannot start. So that's what this link is. That's why if it falls on third, we'll start this D by fourth day. That's how, unless it is not at over, you cannot start D. And similarly, activity E and activity G and H is given. And the reason for highlighting B, D, and F is that those are critical activities, and the resources in that critical activity should not be touched. So that's a very important thing. The resources in this critical activities are not meant to be touched, because those are critical. If you happen to delay that, because that does not have any buffer. So in this case, we have not given the buffer duration. If we give a buffer duration, then you can able to understand very clearly. In the next picture, in this case, we have given the buffer duration. The green color represents the buffer. Say for example, for activity A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days are there. Say this can be moved 8 days, but make sure that when you move this, the dependency also has to be met, and that is how you have to move it, and you have to find it stuff, right? And for critical activities, you can see there is no buffer time, so it's strict and very firm duration, and the resources has to be met compulsorily. And in the other cases, you can manipulate it by moving some resources to the buffer duration, so that your project gets completed in a smooth manner or something like that, right? Then it's very important, we'll do a column sum, which is the period sum. They say per day, what are the resources? This is the total activity and individual activities, and we'll be looking at the total resources required for activity. I mean, for day one, the job is on activity A, B, and C, and its corresponding resources. So when you add 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10. And similarly, for day 2 it's 3 plus 4, it's 7, and for day 3 it's just 3. But day 4, you can see it is 7 plus 1 is 8, and so on. And this is typically the column sum. And you can perform a cumulative sum. So you put the 10 here, and 10 plus 7 is 17, 17 plus 3 is 20, and it goes on, and finally 91 plus 3 is 94. One check you can make sure that the total resources is 94, and this cumulative, the last cell of the cumulative sum should be 94. If it is some deviation, and there is an error in your calculation, so this is how you have to check finally, right? But This is just the presentation of the actual resources requirement. But the problem is when you visually see this, for day 1 you have got 10 resources, and for day 2 you have 7 resources, whereas in day 3 you have only 3 resources, and day 4 to 8 has got 8 resources. And we know that from the client perspective or the contractor perspective, the maximum limitation on the resources is just 7. So which means that this problem itself is partially over allocated and partially under allocated. So which means that in the for the first day that you have exceeded the limit by 3 resources, and in the second day it's fine, you have actually par with the resources, maximum resources, and in the third day you are allocated lesser, whereas a capability of 7 but you have only 3, which means a 4 resources shortage. So in order to make this over allocations, the red colors represents the over allocation, which is the allocated resources over the maximum permittable limit. So those has to be cut down. How do we cut down is we have to move that to some other day, so that we will have a balanced resources or balanced profile. So that is basically resource leveling is all about, right? So this is what the project manager's job is. Once the schedule is given and the resources is given, and his idea is to, or his role is to level the profile or resource, smoothen the resources profile or something like that. And generally computers are used to do that, but for this class we'll do it with simple arithmetics, so you'll understand this much better, right? Say the first thing is, and this is a cumulative resource profile, so this is using this, you can see now how it gets used cumulatively. What we can do is we can manipulate such that these resources are used to optimum. Say in this case, this is iteration number 1. In the before iteration, we have got this 4 and 4 here. So if you move the 4 to the next day or something like this entire chunk to one day, so that this will become 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 4 is 4, and 3 plus 4 is 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 plus 4 is 7, so that this profile gets smoothened somewhat. And that's how we moved from this 4 to 4 to this chunk. So this will become 3 and 3 is 6, 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 plus 4 is 7. So this is moved so that it gets somewhat satisfied. Say this is a typical profile. You remember this 10 got over allocated, we have moved to this portion. 4 from this gets moved to this, and 4 from this gets moved to this. Then this will become 7, and 3 plus 4 is 7, and this 4, 10 minus 4 is 6. So that's how you got this particular 6, 7, 7. Right. So we have made this within the par or within the allowable limits, but it still have this 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, 7th day, and 8th day or over allocated. So how do we make use of that? The same way. Similarly, you can push this one probably to this extreme based on this buffer. You cannot move arbitrarily. Say for example, the reason we moved 4 from here to this is that we have a buffer time. We cannot move a critical activity, but we can move the non-critical activities, the resources of that to only within this buffer region, right? So we had for activity 8 we have got 8-day buffer, I guess. I think it's for activity G. For activity G, it's 5-day buffer. I'm sorry, 5-day buffer, and the duration is 8. So we can move that in this 5 durations, something like that. So I've just moved that to some degree, so that this 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 plus 5 is 7, and finally 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5, and it can be less than 7, that's not an issue, but it cannot be more than 7. So that's the logic. And finally 6, 6, 6, and 4, 4, 4, and finally everything got within the profile. So this is a typical iteration. And if you can try moving with different things also, like you can move this to this end and see to make everything smoother, you can do manually. So that's absolutely no problem. And this is not only the solution. Based on, you can even move this to this here and this to here, and based on this buffer you can just move this. Only thing is that, like, it should be below 7, so your allocation should not go beyond 7. Say for example, if I move this 5 here, then this will become 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10, and 10 plus 2 1 is 11, so it will become 11. So you should not do like that, but you should make sure that this period sum is less than 7, something like that, and you can visually see that by graph. And this is typically the ordinary methodology of leveling the resources. But the problem is that, are we convinced that this is optimum, even though we have leveled this, but this may not be optimum. Say even then, some activities have got 4 days, 4 resources, and some activities have got 6 resources, and some have 5. I mean, only one have 5, and some have 7 resources, and this profile is not balanced. It seems like level, but the profile is not balanced. You see, for day 2 to 8, it will be very stringent because 7 peoples are used exhaustively, or I mean 7 resources are used exhaustively. But in the 13 to 16, it could be relaxed because 3 resources are not required. So this is kind of an optimization problem, when which we need to provide the optimum level of resources per day, even though it's level, but it's not optimum. So this is an simplified method to level the resources. To have an optimized thing, there's a method called minimum moment method. So this is a very interesting thing, and in fact, if you do construction management in an undergraduate level or a postgraduate level, this is a very interesting techniques they teach in advanced construction scheduling, and I'll present it to you. So this is also an iterative process, but this is a very interesting, and you really like it to a greater degree, right? So even in civil engineering, we'll talk about moment of a beam. Say for example, if a particular load is pretty high on that particular arm, then the moment of that is pretty high, provided the length is there. So same way, we'll check the moment between two activities, or 2 days, or 3 days, or multiple days, and finally we will balance that based on the minimum moment, something like that. Say if moment in the sense like the stress concentration, or something like the load concentration. Say in this case, the load concentration is pretty high here, whereas the load concentration is pretty low or optimum here, or something like that. Say we need to make everything to be kind of a same strict level. So that's how we try to do using minimum moment method. The moment produced for the ith resources is half into r1 ri squared. So which means that that particular resource and half of that, the square of that multiplied by 0.5 or 1 by 2. And histogram moment is that sum of all the square of the resources multiplied by 1 by 2. Right. Then we'll take a look at the average moment produced. Average moment is the R average, which is nothing but sum of all the resources divided by the number of days. So that will become average resources, or it is the average resources per day, based on the total resources and for the entire project, that is n duration. And it's also have 1 by 2 r average square, and histogram moment for this is sum of all average square into 1 by 2, something like that. So this is typically the minimum moment method. Let's take a look at, in the same example, how do we incorporate the minimum moment method for resource leveling. And this is our original problem, over allocated problem or partially over allocated, because we have got some under allocations also. It's kind of a both, over and under allocations. And we'll be leveling this using the minimum moment method. So here is the table. So we'll list down the resources. For day 1 it is 10, for day 2 it's 7, from these things 10, 7, 3, 8, 8 until 3. So this is how we present it. And in this case the minimum moment is half into r square, so which is nothing but 1 by 2 into 10 square, which is 50, and it goes on and on till 16th, which is the 3 resources that day, and 1 by 2 into 3 square, which is 4.5, which is 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. And sum of all the resources is sum of the all the moments is the 318, so which means that it's pretty higher. And we have something called R average, which is nothing but the total resources divided by the number, which is nothing but 5.87, and it's almost a constant. So half into R averages this thing, and it will become 17.3. Actually it is 17.25 or something. Then when you add all that thing, it will become 276.13, and this is our key. The reason is that when we compared the average moment, or sum of all the average moment, which is pretty much less than the sum of all the moments of the resources. So we need to find or we need to compute or iterate such a way that we should arrive at least near to this sum of all the average moments. So 318 is pretty high when you compare to 276. Let's take a look at how to level the profile using the this minimum moment method. Same way, this is a moment histogram. We have not done anything so far. Next will be first iteration. In the first iteration, we have moved this 10 to 6. We'll cut down 4, and then we have made this profile and something like that, as similar to what we have done in the regular the Gantt chart view or something like that. And the minimum moment for this is, the moment is 306, but it's still under allocate, over allocated for something. Then we'll cut down the 8 profiles uh, into this particular thing into somewhere, like in this case 6, 6 and 5. We talked about 5, we'll move 1 to here, so that will become 7, and this will become 5, something like that. And finally we'll move this particular over allocations to, this is the third iteration. So it means that we have made sure that like this particular profiles are smooth, and no allocation, no days we have got more than 7 activities, or 7 resources. And finally this looks like a clear profile. But when you calculate, the minimum moment of this is 299. So when you calculate the minimum moment of this, sum of all the moment is like 299, which is also a little higher when compared to 276. So that gives an evidence that there might be some other possibilities where we can smoothen the profile. So in the next case, we'll talk about something like moving the extra credentials to the last 4 things. Say for example, in this case we have got all 3. Say we can move some of these to this thing, so that it will become 4. So this over allocations can be moved to this particular arena. And this is how you've got some 4, 4, 4 and 3, and 6, 6 and 5. So this is a typical way in which we have done. And when we find the moment is almost reduced, like 299 to 291, but it's still not equivalent to the average moment, then probably we'll try another methodology in which we'll have got all these sevens, uh, something like that, and 5, 3 and 3, but the moment is pretty high. It has gone up a little bit higher. So the reason is that like this is leveled but whereas when this case, this is under allocations. So which means that there is some room or some resources you can borrow from these things, so that this gets leveled or something like that. And you don't have to really, day 1 to day 11, do not have to extremize the no manpower, but instead you can make use of that, or in the later period when there is only limited resources required or something. But even then, it needs it can have a 7 resources to finish the job. And same way, this is typically an interesting thing. You see how beautifully we have done. So we have done one resources from everything and made sure that everything is uniform. Say in this case is all 6 and only thing is 2 is 5, and we have got 277. So you may argue that when we borrow one resources from here and this will also become 6, then it will be only 4, then it looks even more uniform. I have even tried that, but it has got a minimum moment of 278, which is one moment higher than this particular profile. So which means that this is more uniform. So whereas in this case is one is kind of a more some entropy or some impurity happened here. Because of that, like is the minimum moment gets altered to some degree higher. And then we talked about the other way, like we do provide maximum resources till 13, then 14th day will be 3, and 15th and 16th is 0. But then the moment is pretty high. You see, when you have some 0 allocations, the moment has shoot up 323, which is way higher than 318. Even 318 moment is itself is an unallocated or the over allocated problem. So it is almost an kind of an very stringently allocated or something like that. Or in for 2 days there's no allocation at all, then that's not going to be very interesting thing. And finally, we'll talk about different combinations, like I've just made it like uniformly varying load or something like that. Then probably we got this 279, which is probably higher than 277. And we tried different methodologies, we tried different profiles, and finally this is the summary. Say this is a different iterations, and this corresponding minimum moment value. And this case, the iteration 3, the later 3, which is like loading all 6, and last 2 was 5, which has a minimum moment of 277. You can even try different combinations, but so far, like this is the optimum value, right? So this is typically the minimum moment method. So this, when the moment is minimum and it's almost balanced smoothly, so the leveling is pretty smooth, and which means the correlation to the minimum moment is the level profile is pretty smooth. So that's what basically it means. And you can even try different simulations, different things. You can note down that this talks about the overall moment, right? Say for example, in this case I've put all 6 here till 1 to 14, and last 15 and 16 is 5 and 5. You can swap 5 anywhere here and make sure that is 6, and it does not matters because it's a minimum moment. Say you can put 5 here and 5 here, and less all in between is 6, but then this profile remains the same. So the simulation should not be like that, but instead the number should be altered. Like for example, you start with 10, 7, 7, 6, 6, 4. We even tried with 4 and 6, 5, but 6 is the optimum, say something like that. We even tried with 0, with 4, but 3, but then like 5 is the optimum, something like that. So you can derive this based on trial and error. So since it's a simple network diagram, we had made use of this kind of a simulation procedure. What happens if you have a huge numbers, then you need to use computer package like MS Project to automatically level the resources. But you should understand how computer have done that. But the method might be minimum moment method or any resource leveling procedure. So computer uses, without the basic knowledge of it, you will not able to understand and appreciate the leveling procedure, right? So once it is done, we can see that the optimum leveled resources, the moment of the histogram is 277. And finally, how do we incorporate that into the actual table or the Gantt chart? Say this is the way in which you can do that. Say in the first activities, the duration is 3 3, and we move this particular stuff to 3 3 2, and finally we have some resources of G here, and G gets moved here, and finally the H gets moved here, and finally you'll get this profile. So you get this balanced profile. So this is how you have to do. But if you use Microsoft Project or Primavera, you can level the resources with the quicker duration. You don't have to really do all this iteration, but you should understand how the resource leveling works, especially the minimum moment method works. So this completes the concept of resource leveling, right?